Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
You can't see me, but my name is Jason Vaughn, and I am from Finland. And this is my buddy Jesse, my other buddy Jesse, and my other buddy not Jesse.
Hello.
But I am not Jesse now.
The streamer is being crazy, and my video is falling behind. I'm like going in and out of dimensions into other portals. We got a clone of Jesse here who we're trying to figure out if the original Jesse was the good Jesse or the bad Jesse. We still don't know. We're trying to figure out which one was the evil one. But yeah, it's been an interesting technical morning, but it wouldn't be this show if everything wasn't fucking breaking all the time. That's how it's always been. Yeah, that is it's
Cap. I'm always angry.
If you ever want to make somebody really, really mad when they're making popcorn, go up to them really slowly and go, shh. It's a secret. When they're eating pop secret, they fucking hate it. I learned that like a long time ago, and I never stopped doing it.
I can't tell anybody about this buttery flavor.
It's like the most annoying commercial from another dimension. Hey, what's up, Stephen Bamford? He's a real bam. Thanks for the Ahmed interview, chaps. First class, and what a truly wonderful man. I really hope he gets screen time again. You dropping solid gold eggs this week, Jason. Star Wars is back. Thank you, Steven. I appreciate that, dude. And yeah,
left.
Ahmed is the best. Ahmed is that's like literally his name is best.
That's why I was like, Mr. Best plays Mr. Fantastic is pretty dope, right? Like that's just it's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm not even on the thing. That's crazy.
What?
I'm not on there. All I can see is Rob and then your blank page.
Oh well, I see you twice. I see you twice. But hey, man, that's the future. People in chat can confirm if you can, if you're seeing Jesse.
No
Jesse Dust.
It's just me in the center of the screen.
Really?
Yeah.
What
fantastic.
I wonder if people can hear. Away. Can they hear Jesse? Is the question. All right, I'm gonna try to take one Jesse out. I don't know. Maybe they can see Jesse now. I don't know. All right. Now I can't hear Jesse. Now I lost Jesse's audio. Yeah, we're doing it, dudes. We're doing it. All right. So I when I put that Jesse back, just trying to take that Jesse away.
Oh, I'm
okay.
Here.
Okay, you're here now, and I could hear you. So apparently, this thing is doing whatever it wants today.
And now he's on the stream.
I got a couple of things in the mail that I want to share with the crowd. I'm doing a little unboxing here.
Is it like one of those like Publishers Clearinghouse things? Like, guys, I think I'm gonna finally fucking do it. Ed McMahon's bones are gonna show up.
That big check, son.
I won't lie. I tried to get 24 copies of the Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack, like for like 1 penny, because I just wanted to give them out for Christmas.
Wait, was this like an eBay auction?
You get a copy.
No, it was 24 like tapes for $1 or something. One of those.
Oh, I remember those.
You know those rando CD things. You know.
I used to always have one of those.
All right, so here I'm gonna do this real quick. So, company called Corksicle. Apparently, they make Star Wars items for the moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like a wine bottle opener?
No, actually, they
Corksicle?
are actual hydration bottles.
Wait, hydration bottle. That sounds redundant.
So this is the Darth Vader.
Sure. It's a martini mixer.
Yeah.
No, it's actually just a flask, apparently, for your water or your warm drinks.
Water, or you can fill it up with vodka and go to work.
Cranberry, yeah, sure.
Yeah, when
Jesse getting paid to shill for
Corksicle, bro. And that swag, right?
Congrats.
You did get it is good looking. It is shiny and black. Oh, that one is a Boba Fett one. I know that one. It's Boba Fett. Wow.
It's pretty nice, actually.
Yeah. I like to cry in one, fill it up with my tears.
You should sell them for your haters.
Yeah, right.
What does Ben Shapiro call them? Leftist tears or something?
I'll just cheers. Yeah, so that's pretty cool though.
Yeah,
So
no,
are
right.
you gonna drink out of it on the show, or
Well, I'm gonna try to, but I think I should wash it out first.
I don't think so, dude. I think you just live dangerously, man.
Should I live dangerously?
No, dude, no, I don't want you to. I used to unload trucks, and I would pull out like pallets of cans for stores and stuff off of those trucks.
Yeah.
And like tuna cans and shit, there would just be dead cockroaches on it, dead mice and shit that got smashed in between two cans, dead like stuff. Yeah. So whenever I open up a can of tuna or just some chicken noodle soup or something stupid, I wash the top of the can. Always wash the top of the can.
Yeah, you should see some of the stuff that when we get down to the bottom of the ship. Especially like when it's like we're doing bagged rice. So a lot of the guys have lunch or they tend to use the restroom in their bottles.
Oh,
they're drinking on, so they just leave them there and they all fall to the bottom.
Fucking Tom, like you ever find like Tom Hanks and Wilson in there?
Yeah, you get to see like these weird. Well, it's not weird. It's just their local food packets, like the stuff that they eat. Like especially in like Southeast Asia, we get a lot of that stuff.
Right.
So there's a lot of these like ramen packets or shrimp packet stuff that I guess they just pop open and eat.
Yeah. I want some ramen. Can you put some ramen in there?
Yeah, you gotta sprinkle
oh yeah, Star Wars Santa says Rob, Jesse, and Jason's voice. Thank you, Mr. Santa. And make sure you guys check out Santa's show. Great show. I dig it. He has Star Wars Meg on a lot, who harasses him and embarrasses him, and it's a good dynamic. I like it. And then Mr. Mark Benjamin Story says Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack was cool though in '89. Correction, the Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack is cool in 2021 because you're too hot to handle, you're too cold to hold. You call the Ghostbusters and they're in control. All right, and the Run DMC track is way underappreciated because then that one they're almost like theatrical. They're like something strange is going on, that's like it's real like Broadway Run DMC. I like it.
Be like Ernie Hudson, now you sing.
Yeah, I remember around that time, since we always talk about Batman for no reason on the show because just why not. I wanted the Prince soundtrack and showed up at Sam Goody. I'm like, I'm gonna get that Batman soundtrack, and but it was the Danny Elfman one, and you can see the bat wing flying in front of the moon on it. I'm like, this cover is way cooler. I'm like, I'm glad that they're making 2 covers for everything now. This is a great idea, and I buy that one. I buy the tape. I get home, I put it in the car, and it's like, burr, 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 burr. And I'm like, oh man, this shit is kind of a cool jam though.
You got the one I wanted. I got the Prince soundtrack, which I didn't want. Like I was like, all right, it's fine,
Yeah.
But I wanted the Danny Elfman. Yeah, right. It's yeah. What are you supposed to? Come on, I get it, but it's just a fat Joker. Like, let's just be honest. Like,
listen, it's fat Joker.
The fattest
Joker
money of all time. Dude.
He's the best Joker of all time, and he gives out money to the people of Gotham City, and he puts a smile on their face.
They're Joker bucks, by the way. The cut footage from that wasn't even real money. It was Joker bucks. So
yeah.
I'm like, I get Jack Nicholson 20 years before, but Jack Nicholson in '88, no, he'd been craft servicing. Like, like if Willem Dafoe hadn't played Jesus, he might have had a shot. Like he would have been.
He's my favorite Joker. I'm just is.
Is
Defined
he a
it.
better devil than Al Pacino? Because wasn't he like the devil in Witches of Eastwick?
Witches of Eastwick.
Yeah, Witches of Eastwick. Yeah, I like that movie.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that one in years.
Look, I'm not saying I'm problem fat, but it's a fat joke. I mean, we live in an age now where like people saw Heath Ledger. He's like, he's too muscular. I'm like, Jack Nicholson was fucking 240 pounds. You see him, you know, and he's got like the pick. He looks like the balloons. My balloons. They look like me. Like, all right, you know, sure.
So, as a truth says, I caught up with last night's great Kenobi scoop. Can relate to those who think it might affect how they view the films. Even as a kid who grew up with the Clone Wars, I was against Maul, back, etc. until a few years ago. Yeah, I mean, it's like I always take the better opportunity for like fun. What's going to be the most fun? Because once you know, especially once a corporation has bought Star Wars, at that point nothing is sacred anymore. Whatever you held or we held sacred, that is now past. I mean, it probably shouldn't have been held sacred in the first place because it's just a space movie, you know, that's really fun. And so, and with that in mind, that tenet of it being really fun, if something really fun can happen, then it should. I mean, that's mostly where I fall on it. Because you could always just like stop watching at whatever point you want and nothing else could ever hurt what you liked before. So everybody has that option. If they continue to go on, I think they have to go on it in the spirit of, I want it to be fun. I want more fun. And but yeah, I mean, but that is the whole thing, is like that whole headcanon thing, you know, is such a weird and personal thing, and it's different for everyone, you know?
Yeah. Everybody's experience is a little different, you know?
Yeah. It makes it where, like, you know, if you were defending the Phantom Menace in some way that made it work for you, and then something comes along and it kind of, you know, detracts from that point, I could see how it makes some people a little bit mad. Hey, look, I could put text on the screen.
For a very short while, I want to say like 2001 to 2-ish, right? That sweet spot before Attack of the Clones. I just defended it by going, look, he's just crazy. And we're just getting crazy Lucas movies. I mean, who doesn't want that? And no one in the car could argue, oh, he's certifiably, you know, this is crazy. This is crazy, guy. We got frogs, we got Muppets, we got puppets, we got Swedish women with accents that Anakin don't have. No reason. I don't get it. Like,
he had FU money. That's what he had.
Yeah,
we got racially questionable junk salesmen. You know, like, we don't know. We got the worst fucking puppets of all time. We do. No,
there's two of them.
Horrible, dude.
No,
yeah. Although the "we will not survive this" is a fun line. You know, It is great watching. Like, it reminds me of the Kurosawa, like the guys in the Hidden Fortress, the two idiots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But if they were in charge of shit, like it would, you know, like, oh no, shit, we're cowards. We are cowards. We can run.
Have you ever been given a record and you, or like, or something like that, you know, or like heard something and you're like, I like this, but it's like not for me now. You just know it, and then you go to it later, and then you're like, oh, this, like, you're like obsessed with it, and you're like, I just wasn't ready for it for whatever reason. You ever had that happen to you? Like with like maybe like
I feel like I have.
or some weird Radiohead record or something, you know, whatever. Yeah.
Metallica in the early 80s.
Early 80s Metallica.
I didn't get into Metallica until the Black Album. Like, I was like, I love this. Unforgiven. Like Into the Sandman.
Oh yeah, no. That was when everybody got into it. They just pretended like they were too cool for the production, you know. That was kind of what that was. But I'm gonna say that's you and Nemodians, friend. I think one of these days you're gonna just watch it. You're gonna be like, dude, you're gonna be like, you know what? This is fucking rad.
No, I love the concept art too much.
Magnetize, magnetize. Come on.
Anytime in the weird BDSM faces, it just reeks of like, what Doctor Who puppets do we have lying around that no one will remember?
I'm chubbing up right now. I'm chubbing.
They don't look anything like the concept. If we're gonna do another special edition of the Phantom Menace, you can keep the whole movie the way it is. Just replace the Nemodians with the CGI ones from the concept art. I can't stand the ones in the movie. Can't do it.
Man.
Sorry.
I'm gonna throw it out there that they're just ahead of their time. So
I don't know why, but they remind me of Plankton on SpongeBob.
so yeah, so we were
They do now.
to all right, let me see if I could get this tab opened up with how things are running today. So
Of Vader and Kenobi.
I was contacted
Can-
today by
Hey, 1 second, Jason. Can you turn Jesse up a little bit? I'm having a hard time.
is Jesse
Yeah.
Jesse's always down low no matter what.
Down
So
low. Is this
I
better?
have I have two Jessies in my thing now. So I'm just gonna turn up both Jessies. Wait, Jesse, talk. Let's see if we have two audio streams.
I solemnly swear that I'm up to
Okay.
no good.
All right, you sound fine on my end anyway. But if we have two Jessies harmonizing and phasing, that sounds fucking beautiful.
Okay.
So Matt, I think it was Matt from Star Wars. Yeah, it was Matt from Star Wars Time. He wrote me and was like, "Hey, I had a Kenobi scoop like a little like last week or something, and I think some of that stuff interfaces with your stuff." And I was like, "Oh, interesting." I'm like, I would have covered it. I never saw it. So, but now that he knows to send me stuff, I'm sure when he gets stuff, he will. And I haven't looked into anything that it is in this. I can't verify any of it or anything like that. But one thing I will say is I will usually try and once again, not throwing shade, I will. But if somebody puts their name on it with the scoop, most people don't want to ruin their real name. And if you do it under like a pseudonym, at times it can be a bit questionable. Doesn't mean it exclusively, but usually you won't say, "Whoa, I just had two Jessies join." Anyways,
And Jesse dropped out.
oh, Jesse dropped out. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all right. So let's see.
I
Jesse?
didn't touch anything.
All right, yeah, dude, it's the service today. I don't think it's us.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it out there that we are innocent. So, but what he says is, while it's no secret that Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader will have a rematch in Obi-Wan Kenobi series, Lucasfilm has promoted it since the series was officially announced. It's never been clear on how that fight might play out in the series. Now, thanks to our source, who has talked with someone directly involved with Kenobi production, we can share some more insights into this rematch and how they encounter and how many encounters it might actually entail. Now, this is where I think this part of it's pretty interesting. He says, look, it's understandable if you have no faith in Star Wars Time as a source for leaks, but I can personally vouch for our source, and I'm reporting this with full confidence. So if you want to stay spoiler free, then do not press, don't go to the break below. So, Star Wars fans knew about the rematch, and then it goes on to the rematch is. So this is what I think is interesting. So according to them, which I think they mean their sources, or their source, Obi-Wan and Darth Vader will actually interact multiple times throughout the series. And the two former brothers will be meeting in the flesh. That I can confirm. I asked, obviously, if these would be similar to the duels Rey and Kylo had through the Force in the sequels. But our source confirmed that will not be the case in Kenobi. They will be in the same space for their interactions. No Force VR for these two. We can also confirm that these interactions between Kenobi and Vader will be similar to the Maul fights in The Phantom Menace, meaning smaller skirmishes will take place between them to start, which in turn will build towards the final duel between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader that has been built by Lucasfilm. So if this is how it plays out, if it's like a Phantom Menace thing where you have like him chasing him and there's those moments and stuff like that, and then at the end, I can't say for certain. But the only thing that sticks out to me in terms of being interesting in terms of this report was that I was told like Obi-Wan recognizes Darth Vader when he sees him there. Like it's like a recognition, but maybe that's open for interpretation, or maybe he meant Anakin. I don't know. Anyways, Hayden's screen time. Our source went on to confirm that based on what they were told, Hayden is on screen a lot as Darth Vader, and that the Dark Lord is a major threat in the series. In fact, it was made clear that Darth Vader isn't just a vehicle for action sequences. His action moments will be impactful via his fights with Kenobi, but he's not just going to be used as action filler to wow audiences without further developing the character. When asked if we could see Hayden as Anakin at all via flashbacks, the source could only confirm that he plays Vader. So on set, sorry, excuse me. On the set's source was never involved in a shoot portrayed Hayden as Anakin. Now that doesn't mean scenes like that weren't shot. Our source just wasn't witness to anything but Hayden as Darth Vader. And on my side of things, my sources were not privy to Hayden in the Darth Vader suit at all for the end fights in August. So
one thought here.
yeah,
Any chance they try the Iron Man POV, but it's like Hayden's scarred face in the helmet, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually pretty cool.
yeah, I would be up for that. I mean, I before on the old podcast, I used to always be like, "Oh, you can't do a Mandalorian show. He has a helmet on the whole time. That ain't gonna work." Then I was like, "Oh yeah, Favreau created that fucking shot with Iron Man."
Well,
So
think
I
he's gonna
thought for
have
sure
to
we
now,
were gonna
right?
get that. I thought for sure that we were gonna get that shot in Mando, but
'Cause
we
I mean,
didn't.
Now that we've seen it in stormtrooper helmets and what Mando
You're
helmets
still
and
really
stuff.
low, Jesse.
Really? Jesus,
Yeah.
that's really low.
Okay, that's better.
That's
Your mic's all the way up on my end though. I've done all I
Okay.
can.
All right. Well, let me do this here.
Yeah, that
So-
works.
Okay, so yeah, so he's probably just chasing. Oh crap! No.
Did I
Never mind.
did I mess in? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, but it would be rad if they did that shot because we do see that cool shot in Revenge of the Sith of the helmet going on to Hayden's face, onto Anakin's face, and we see like the little like displays turn on and stuff like that. So it would be kind of cool to see that in a more action setting. But anyways, and then they can confirm the chamber, which is pretty much confirmed by now. Finally, epic shit. Finally, and not that this is anything meaty, but our source relayed to us that the Kenobi production pulled out some epic shit. There were, but you get the idea. When you think about them having multiple interactions that can be described as epic shit, the potential for this series to be some of the best Skywalker Saga content of all time only increases. So yeah, and then so that is a report from Star Wars Time, which, if you ask me, is like the Star Wars Time magazine of Star Wars. I don't know if that's what they meant.
So is it
But,
like a chase across the galaxy? Maybe they're trying to catch up with Obi-Wan, and they kind of do every now and then, so they have to battle.
Are you asking if it's a space chase?
Yeah, space chase, baby.
Space chase, baby. Yeah, I mean it very well. I mean it very well could be. I mean
It's like Cannonball Run,
Yeah,
but
right? Where Vader's constantly, I'm gonna get me a Diablo sandwich and a Coke.
so let's be the fucking super nerds. Based off of what I heard, and put out last night, I should say. Obi-Wan Kenobi is powerful. He still has his powers, that they haven't faded. Does that mean Vader and the Inquisitor are what keep Obi-Wan at bay before the final like battle where Darth Vader gets pretty fucked up? Because he gets fucked up, by the way. Just gonna put that in there. Darth Vader doesn't have a good time. Can't say specifics, but it's a bad time. It's not good. It's not General Grievous bad, but it's like just a little above General Grievous bad.
tripped into lava bad.
not tripped into lava bad, but like
Why do I put handrails on the wall?
It's Star Wars. There's no handrail.
hey, what's up, Matt?
Handrails.
So Matt, I was using StreamYard and I was having just a whole different slew of weird strangeness when using video and stuff like that. So now we're on Melon because it reminds me of boobs. No, just because I was trying a different one. And I'm 13 years old inside.
There's
Deep
only
inside.
two of them, and they're everywhere. We're outnumbered.
Hey, I like my Sith Lords like I like my titties 2 at a time. Know what I mean, man? I don't know do any of that fucking.
They're called Higgins.
I don't like that. I don't like any of that Total Recall bullshit when they put 3
Shoot
titties
big north
in.
of the border.
It's all natural. So, anyways,
Even guys got them.
even man's got titties. That's how good they are.
The man's ear.
So hopefully we get to see some new Jedi that survived Order 66 in Kenobi. Yeah, that would be cool. And I mean, some of those Inquisitors might be kind of that in the end too. You know, they were all, a lot of them in the backstory. I remember I was at I think it was at the comic book store I went to with Filoni and the writer from Clone Wars and Rebels. I'm trying to blank on his name at the moment. It'll come to me in a second. But they were talking and they were like, yeah, like our idea for Inquisitors is that like Palpatine was kind of scouting them like he was Anakin, like early on. So if you had some moral weakness that he could identify, he exploited it around Order 66 and he got you. And so that's where they were going with that one. But I have to say that I don't know if they're going to, I don't know if they would do that. Do you think they would put Darth Vader on screen with an Inquisitor and like kind of like in a way detract from the make him look like he needs fucking help? Like
No,
I'd like it if they were.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'd like it if. God damn it! You go.
All right, fine. No, I think we've seen enough in the games and everything like that. We all think he's the badass already as it is. So him having an Inquisitor there to boss around is the same thing as having Star Killer in the game. It wouldn't detract from me anything at all from the scene. It actually kind of make it more validating for me. Actually, is because he's doing things that we want him to actually do and actually get to see that.
Do you would wrestling guys like that, or would wrestling guys be like, no way? Because like sometimes wrestling guys don't care when like one bad guy's friend gets the chair and like helps out. Like you're like, yeah, fuck yeah, you're a bad guy. What are you gonna do? It's what you do. But I could also see like the other guys who are like, oh no, Darth Vader's a huge fucking pussy who needs fucking help from
in wrestling terms, it's like when you have to put Mr. Perfect and Bobby the Brain Heenan together and they end up fighting. Like that's kind of like the idea.
It's still kind of a moot that because he's already hurt. He has to have all this mechanical shit to help him live. So he's already
Rogue One
would be weak.
Dude. Rogue One, he was ready to fucking go. Darth Vader doesn't have a dick, but he still fucks because we saw him in that scene.
He turned that hallway upside down.
Yeah, he did. I like your face, Rob. It's like
he doesn't know where to go.
No, I know where to go. It's out the door because it's like you know that Bruce Lee when he's in front of a bunch of mirrors. I'm like, it's just dicks everywhere. Like, all right, just back out the way you came in. It's no way to win this.
Yeah. But yeah, and like that's what I was like I didn't want to like say. I was trying to make like I guess sort of a point in my article last night about the fact that I think what they're doing. I was trying to say it without saying it because I don't know, but it's what I think to some extent, and I think that Hayden's not doing most of the fight stuff because they were getting somebody who's like a really good person with a sword, and I was also told that like I wanted to know who was in the Vader suit, right? That's kind of what started some of that line of info gathering. And as I was digging in, I'm not at liberty to say because I don't entirely know, but I do know that one of the people who is in the suit was picked specifically for their ability to fight with a sword. And it's Gwendolyn Christie. I'm kidding, it's not. But you know, it's somebody who can definitely sword fight. So if anybody,
it's Peter Dinklage. They just got some stilts.
Well, I mean, there was a rumor on Reddit that that they had some wrestler playing Darth Vader, and that they had a Ouija board, and David Prowse was possessing the body of the wrestler. That's not true because David Prowse can't sword fight.
Creepy Pasta took over Star Wars spoilers. That's amazing. I got to tell you, not to derail the conversation, but when I found out Creepy Pasta was about haunted Nintendo 64 cards, I was like, well, now I'm officially old because that's fucking absolutely ridiculous. And you'd have to grow up. You had to be 5 years old in 1996. And to buy into that bullshit, we all know Nintendo. The scariest part about Nintendo 64 was that they were $100 to $120 fucking dollars a game, and you probably beat them in about 40 minutes, and they had the world's shittiest sound. But okay, like,
Yeah.
they're haunted.
What was the game? And it was like $60. I want to say it was $60 for Mario 64.
Nintendo games were, but Shadows of the Empire $99, Mortal
No.
Kombat Trilogy $120.
No, I didn't spend $100 to get Shadows of the Empire.
Walmart $99, bro.
No, that I don't think so.
Yes. I not only do I think so, bro? I remember the day clear. I was fucking like, this is so much fucking money. This is like half my console for this. But I love Star Wars so much, I did it. That's when I got the job at Playco, so I could get a break on the fucking game prices. Because I was like, this is too much.
Wait, and I'm gonna look it up. I can't let that go. I can't let.
That's what I
really
paid, bro.
I'm not saying you've been, but I don't think that was the retail. N64, Shadows of the Empire. What should I write? Like price, retail price on release date. No, I'm bad at googling on shows. Because I bought that game and I was 15 years old. So that's why I'm like, you know what I mean? So Star Wars Shadows of the Empire.
You're not
one
15
thing
years
shows
old in 1996, were you? Because I was
No,
I was eight.
He's
I was 18. You were 17 years old.
16.
I was
No, it's December 1996, bro. Like
in 95, I would have been 15 and I would have turned 16 at the tail end of it. So I was early 16.
Yeah.
I was a young 16.
Because I don't.
You guys should have saw my nipples at a young 16. My God, you guys were missing out. But anyways,
I graduated in 96.
Okay, yeah.
so did I.
Yes, but I mean, anyways, I will say that it. Well, why were we?
You have to remember
that?
the retail price that you'll see for those games does not reflect what stores were charging for them because there were so few games available. When the ROMs came out, there were so few.
Yeah,
like there was a giant ROM shortage at the time because they were shutting down those plants to make CDs, and so Nintendo didn't pre-buy. They pre-bought for themselves. Everyone else had to fend for themselves. So maybe it says retail $69.99, but when you walk into Software Etc. and you pre-ordered, that shit was $99.99, bro.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what it was. I got it from Software Etc. And then I went to an Italian food place with my girlfriend afterward to wallow in the fucking months worth of salary it took me because I was working at Wendy's and it was ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say my best video game weekend of all time was when Ocarina of Time came out, and my girlfriend it was like really hard to get on that first day. For some reason, I couldn't get it the first day, but she got it, and she brought it over to me with Papa John's pizza, and we did what kids do when parents aren't there. She left the pizza. And I had the fucking Zelda game, and it was raining. Man, you can't beat that. You just can't. And
go outside. I guess I'm just gonna have to sit here and play Zelda.
Yeah, it was great. It was and after that, nothing's ever been good again. No, I'm kidding.
So it's all downhill from there.
all pretty much downhill from there, guys.
And then adulting.
Yeah, then on to that stuff. But
it is a shame that we're not going to see video games from any of these series. Like I don't need a AAA $60 experience, but it would be cool to get like $29.99 or $39.99 little games off the Mandalorian or something not mobile. I don't know. Like it I wish there was a way that they like Super Kenobi, right? Super Mandalorian. Just something to where you can relive the experience in a gaming form.
One of my favorite things, two favorite things was there was a guy who created this thing called the Cult of Ward, where he said I had a cult, and he was dead serious. And by the way, he was arrested for child molestation, and he's now in jail. Yeah,
It's gonna say you
hilarious.
and Jim Cornette both have a
It's
cult.
funny how
I'm in both. Damn it! Like,
yeah. And then the yeah, and then the other was that I had Illuminati ties.
it's definitely true.
And it was not, and it was well, and where I'm going to go with this
Confirm.
are two ways. First is I started wearing little triangles on my lapel when I went to the solo premiere. I I wore a triangle on my collar, so if that person saw it, they would go, "Yes, that makes sense. There it is."
It's the all-seeing eye triangle. There
Yeah.
it is.
Meanwhile,
But it was-
Grover walks up to you, square. No,
Yeah, but I mean,
triangle.
it was just really that I liked what Titanic Sinclair was doing with Poppy at the time, anyways, if the Illuminati was real, if these people in Hollywood could figure out the Illuminati, they could also figure out how to make video games for movies that come out at the same time and work. Like that's how together they would be with their shit. And Illuminati's not real.
I
And
think, they would lose their shit if they watched the Squid Game.
yeah, right. I have one episode to go on Squid Game. I gotta say, Rob, Squid Game is good.
All
I started watching the Dragon
All I can
Quest
think is
anime.
PlayStation.
Sorry, I'm watching Dragon Quest anime. Finally got the time to watch it. 52 episodes. First episode's great.
Yeah, I never watched it. I never saw it.
Well, there's a movie that's an adaptation of the fifth game, but there's an anime, the Adventures of Dai, DAI, and it's great. Like it doesn't go where in the very first episode you're like, oh, this easily could have been a Dragon Quest game. Like it has all the quirky turns and things you wouldn't expect, and it looks great. So
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. What is that? Are you watching that like on a service or
on Crunchyroll? Yeah, on Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I will watch Squid Game. It's just I gotta watch it by myself because my wife's not interested. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so let's see. I can either play Psychonauts 2 or watch Squid Game, and I don't know. So
That's a hard decision.
I'll get the maybe they'll. Do you think they'll how do I say this? Because of the controversy over the dub or the sub, right? The subtitles were based off the dub.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll ever update the dub or give you an optional subtitle that's based off the original language?
I don't know.
Yeah, same.
I don't think they're
wait.
going to do that.
For when I was watching like when I watched Squid Game, I'm watching it with the subtitles on and the English language going on, and I can tell you that it's all synonyms for the most part. Like people are making it sound like it's like this big thing. It's literally people trying to pretend like they are watching highbrow cinema when they're watching a fucking Netflix series about, you know what I mean? It's like it's really like on that one. It's there's nothing to be gained on that. I will take it. There are actors who really deserve to be heard with their voice and stuff like that. Acting's not bad in this show, but I definitely don't feel like this is one of those things.
I liken it to the way translation was on Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where they gave it to one guy and he had like 3 months to do it. So, you know, it sort of like it got done, but it's not quite what they were hoping for. And so then you get the updated translation where you're like, yeah, it changes context, doesn't really change the whole thing. And in some ways, for people who grew up with it, you're like, well, the incorrect subtitles make it more funny in some way. You're like endeared to that version, which is why I was saying they could never just replace the subtitles because that's going to split the whole base. But maybe they do an optional one for people who are interested. But I don't know. So I'll watch it either way because everyone's fucking watching. I remember I fought Game of Thrones tooth and nail, and finally, like around like season 4, I'm like, watch this stupid fucking show. I was like, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I waited till season 3. I was like, what the? Because I'm like, what's all this fucking and stuff going on? I don't need to watch all that. Like, that's about swords.
my wife couldn't watch it because she was too violent for her. And then eventually, I got her to watch it, and then she loves it. And now she's like, I don't know if I can watch this. I'm like, you watch Game of Thrones. I don't know what else. I mean, they cut a horse's head off and everyone. Yeah.
Well, no, it's like
around the audience. Like, it's horrible.
I don't really like when everybody's like, you got to watch this. You got to watch this. And I'm not saying you got to watch it. But I am saying like, it is actually one of the things where it actually is good. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
actually like isn't just like it's something to do today. I mean, it's not fucking Tiger King. I'm not saying it's Tiger King.
I'm not
It's
watching that.
It's not Tiger King.
But
But
I'm not watching Tiger King. I draw the line. Like,
I can't wait for the movie to come out of that. That's awesome.
if you know what, I don't know. Is it being done by Jody Hill, or is it somebody else? I can't remember if I only wanted Tiger King by Jody Hill or if he was doing it. But
I don't know.
yeah. But I don't know if anything beats reality. I mean, Des is all
nothing beats
"Fuck
reality.
Tiger
What are
King."
you, George Lucas?
That
Like,
damn Carol Baskin.
yeah, I don't want to look. We got Florida causes enough problems. They could just I don't need to hang out there in my head too. You know, like, there's other things to watch. So
That's why some news stories you can guess it's either Florida or Germany.
What is brand new cherry flavor? I never heard of it. Is it?
I don't know. I've never heard
Yeah,
of it.
I haven't heard of
either.
it. But is it like a new streaming show? Because I'll check it out. I'm about to finish old Squid Game, and but yeah. Anyways, where was I going with that? Was the best moment ever. If you don't listen to me about subs and dubs, because my favorite line in a subtitled video game ever is Legend of Zelda 2, when you go to like that side world and he straight up says, "I am error." That is the best. That was the best line ever. As a kid, I was like, this is fucking Nintendo. They can't mess that up. This means something. What? It's Nintendo, you guys. Come on.
you missed ISO Climbers and you missed Wrecking Crew. Like, there's Wrecking Crew's sort of all right. My dad loved it, but I was like,
I liked Wrecking
Nintendo
Crew.
wasn't making winners after winners. Like. Mario 2: The Lost Levels is clearly a bad game. Like, I don't care.
Yeah,
what
but they don't. We don't get that. We don't get to hit them for that one, because they were like, this shit's too shitty for them. They didn't give it to us.
The soundtrack for Zelda 2 is fantastic.
Yeah,
it's just,
I actually do like that game. It's not great, but it's good.
Yeah, it's just like them trying to make a 3D Zelda before there was 3D. Like it really played. The mechanics of Zelda 2 actually make their way into Ocarina in a lot of ways, so it's very similar. But yeah, it's just, I just remember my buddy I wasn't that into Zelda. I was more into Goonies 2, right? Like that game.
Goonies 2 is fantastic. That game.
But you had to rescue a mermaid. I don't know why, but sure. My buddy loved Zelda, and when he played Zelda 2, crushing defeat. Like, he was like, it's like, I like the music. He's like, it's horrible. Like, just
Star Wars Santa says Kansas's Point of No Return was that album for me. That was ahead of its time. Yeah. There's like, for me, Joy Division bought the first record I ever bought was like in 1994, a CD. And I was just like, yeah, I mean, everything's good about it, but I don't know. I need distortion. I need lots of distortion. And then like 8 or 9 years later, I'm just like going through CDs. I put it on. I'm like, why haven't I been listening to this every day? Let's get sad.
You're gonna hate me, but
what's that?
My favorite song at the time was the theme song to Night Court. Like, I could just listen to that all night. Like, I had poor taste. Like, I love it, but I remember at the time I wrote everything around pop culture. I just couldn't stand songs with lyrics.
Yeah.
They talked. Queen was about it. It's like I listened to, but even then it was like certain songs,
Right.
But
yeah, what I used to do is I used to put when we were able to burn CDs in 1999. This is still like, at a time when you actually like would pull up in a car next to somebody and start talking and like maybe get a date. It was kind of weird. It was weird that way. But my drummer, he had the car, and he would be like, hey, can you burn like this CD or whatever? I'm like, yeah, I could get it and burn it. But what I would do is, if he asked me to do it, is in between the songs, I would put like the Different Strokes theme song, Night Court, fucking even like Gilligan's Island if I had to. I didn't care. I had I would do it. And
Lyrics can't do
but
like a
it
Tool album.
never worked. But I always wanted him to pull up Nick. This guy got girls all the time too. This guy was like, he looked like the fucking brother from Boy Meets World back then. Is my drummer. So he was a magnet for women. And but I always wanted him to pull up next to somebody, and like he has like this fucking song he thinks is cool on, and then like the girl looks at him, and then all of a sudden changes to the next song, and then it's like, give me a break. Because I sure do need it, something like that.
Oh, they meant the show Give Me a Break.
Give me a
I was
break
on Nell Carter? Like
with
all
Nell
right.
Carter. Yeah. Where I got my first spoiler from The Empire Strikes Back, by the way.
Oh yeah.
That was that show. I think I want to say the little girl, I don't know, I don't remember what her name was, but she had like a bowl cut and it was super trippy. She was like kind of like a tomboy, I think. Something like that. And she's like, wow, this is like when Luke Skywalker found out Darth Vader was his father. and
This is before videotape too, so yeah.
Well, this is before fucking people learn spoilers. People used to just be like not saying anything, just be like, oh, the trailer gives it all away. That was the most people had time to bitch about shit about like that for. Anyways, so like I was just like, and I remember being like, I was probably like seriously like maybe like 3 years old. And that was when I realized and I put it together. I'm like, so really? Okay. That's weird. And I was like, I wonder if he's sad that his dad is a bad guy. Is my dad a bad guy? And then my dad came home that very day.
Did he cut off your hand?
No, with a pierced ear. And I flipped the fuck out.
Your dad was Hall Notes.
I was like, I didn't want my dad to be Billy Idol. I don't know why. and I actually he actually took it out. Like I would not chill on it. And he took it out eventually.
Did he have the fingerless gloves?
Oh yeah, he did. Oh, he also
it's not Gregory Hines, is it? That's amazing.
I also
did we get the feather?
I remember he got really into working out around MC Hammer time, and he had some MC Hammer pants. My dad wore Hammer pants while
Hammer lives
out.
in the next town over.
Really? Yeah, you should.
Yeah, and he lives in Tracy. It's like 15 minutes from here.
Dude, I liked when remember when MC Hammer used to like give money to people just to like show like how rich he was, not because he liked them.
I'll be handing out turkeys like I'm Nino Brown, baby.
That's what he was great.
I worked on this game that was canceled, and I can't say what it was, but I was working on this game, and they had this thing where you like Breath of the Wild where you had like
it was called Hammer Time. Everybody, in case you doesn't.
I wish it was, but they had that hang glider mechanic, and so I was like, what if you got hammer pants and you could just float on your hands?
Yeah.
Like they just poof and you're like, all right, you got like a little like jingle like when you do it,
they are kind of
up in the next Fortnite update.
Yeah. I want that.
They were not happy with my contributions.
No, they weren't.
Last night, two Star Wars fans.
How bad would it have been for them not to like it?
It didn't get made. Let's think about that.
Fair enough.
Two Star Wars fans who like watch the shows and follow the site added me on Fortnite, and last night I had a couple minutes and they invited me to play.
Oh, how'd they go?
And they're like, hey, great scoop, and I was like, thanks for playing with us, and like they were super sweet, very nice guys. And they were in their they had like their Kylo Ren and their stormtrooper avatars
Skins.
on. Yeah. And I was just a stubborn asshole, and I was playing as a flamboyant unicorn with like a cereal box mascot with Pegasus wings, and I didn't have a headset on, and I would just dance in front of them. They're like, we're playing with Making Star Wars, and he's a unicorn.
What are you doing? Dance off, bro.
And I was like, yeah, that's right. I'm a flamboyant unicorn.
That was the what if we all wanted. What if Star-Lord lost the dance off? Like what? How that dance off may have actually affected the entire universe. Like it was actually that important.
Ronan starts breaking dancing like in super speed.
But nobody. It led me to realize something about Star Wars, and that's why I'm bringing it up. Not just the fact that I'm a flamboyant asshole sometimes, is that as a unicorn, is that Star Wars needs it needs some enchanting ass monsters. Like Star Wars needs its unicorn. It stole the teddy bear. It's got titty monsters. It's got rancors. It's got porgs. I mean, but where's the unicorn? It
Give
needs,
Taika a chance, bro.
yeah.
He hasn't even had a chance.
What's his name? Never Ending Story, Faldor or something like that.
Oh, Falcor. Yeah, he's a luck dragon. You know that? He's lucky. That kid probably appreciated that when he got a little bit older, having a luck dragon. Lucky a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, I want to
3
go for a ride
stories tall.
on my dragon. Like back then, like I'm like burning CDs, hoping that's gonna help me in some way. And he's like, I got a luck dragon.
He doesn't ship fortune cookies. I can tell you that. Like,
Can you imagine just him just like dropping deuces down that street in New York or where Germany, wherever it was.
Oh, hey, look at all these tents.
it's that scene from Ghostbusters where the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man explodes, and like the guy standing there is just.
Mr. Mustard says Guarda the cover.
Walter Peck gets dosed.
Oh shit! What happened to Walter Peck? What's he doing?
He retired
He's been
because
in good
people
stuff,
hate
man.
it. No, he talked. He's like, he took a long break because he's like, people hate me. When they see me, they hate me. Like, he played one too many really good bad guys.
Jerk-offs, yeah.
Yeah, and so people thought that was him in real life or something because people are fucking stupid.
No, okay. His best one too was Real Genius. That's where he's a real asshole on that one.
Yeah, no, he's great. Yeah, that's why I was asking. I was like, that guy should be like a fantastic character actor.
Well, he's been in a few stuff that I've seen, not very recently, but in the last few years.
Yeah,
He's exactly the kind of actor Favreau should cast in Mando.
he's like,
And
he's
not
like,
as a dick, like play against the type. Like,
Mayfield's dead.
I call him an edgy Kenneth Branagh.
yeah,
He could be
Well-
Mayfield's dad.
yeah, Mayfield's dead. In Stranger Things, was it season 3? No, season 2 when they cast Paul dude from Aliens 2. Paul Ryan.
Paul Reiser.
Paul Reiser, yeah. They call it
Reiser.
Paul, and because Paul Reiser.
By the way, when you do something as horrible and as bad and as evil as Mad About You, you don't get to be known as the Aliens guy anymore. Fuck you, Paul Reiser. Go on.
The
Sorry,
90s
man.
just were turbulent time for your relationships.
I'm
weren't
still
they?
angry. I'm still angry about a lot of stuff in the 90s.
Yeah. So, but in that season, it was great because Paul Reiser, you're just waiting for him to turn on everyone and try to like aliens to him and steal the ghosts or the demons or something, and he doesn't. He just turns out to be a nice guy. So I'm like, that's the way the Walter Peck actor should be. Like you were expecting him to be.
Hey, Matt.
Hey gang,
Like,
how's it going?
What's up, dude? So this is Matt from Star Wars Time who had the scoop. I invited him on, but like me, he's a papa, and papa's got stuff to do sometimes.
Yep, that's right. Take them kids
Had to
school,
get the
man.
little one from kindergarten, but we're back. She's eating some candy and watching Pickle and Peanut on Disney Plus. So I had a few minutes to hop on the stream here.
Yeah, dude, I wanted to have you on and tell you once again, good scoop.
Thank you.
Really interesting information. Yeah, because basically everything that I had last night was about the final fight and was like on the.
I love that. I
production.
mean, that's a great report, by the way. I mean, because like I said, my source kind of came through someone that worked on the production. I guess we'll leave it at that. But
Yeah.
he was it was an in passing conversation, and the person working on the show was like, we pulled off some epic shit, and I have a feeling that epic shit is the scene you kind of detailed today or yesterday in your report. So I'm glad we could kind of corroborate and link up what I had with the details you had there for that final scene, which definitely sounds like some epic stuff. So it's a pleasure to be here. Did you guys already have the conversation? I probably missed it, but
we did go over the report, but I'm not. But we have no focus. We all have ADHD probably. At least
definitely.
probably just that. So yeah. So if you want to reiterate anything from it or go over anything from it again, I'm I'm game. I could talk about this stuff all day.
Okay.
Feel
Yeah. I
free.
mean, I don't want to retread too much because I'm like you fellas here. We do a weekly show over on the Star Wars Time show, and sometimes we record for 4 hours. So I know how it goes. We've got the ADHD too. But I think what has me the most excited about this now that we're starting to get more details about their, as I call it, the rematch is at this point, is that it was really described to me like we're going to get this almost a similar delivery and buildup of anticipation that we got in the Phantom Menace, in terms of they're going to have a little tussle, kind of like Qui-Gon and Maul did there on Tatooine, that then is going to build to what I believe is the scene you were describing in your report.
Yeah.
So we even, I don't know about you guys, but Kathleen, she's been promoting this rematch since last December. So it's not like this is the big reveal. It's getting the bits and pieces to figure out, all right, this probably is not going to be a forced flash fight like I think some of us might have been speculating. I think you're the one that coined that term, by the way.
Oh, right.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm talking like the old, the Rey Kylo stuff where
Yes.
they weren't technically meeting in the flesh, but they were able to battle through the Force. But at least from our source, it sounds like, yeah, they're going toe to toe each time. There's no Force screwing around, as I believe your report alluded to as well. So
Yeah, well,
I
wouldn't
love
it be funny if Kathleen Kennedy was like, I spent hundreds of dollars on Mike Tyson fights in the 80s, and I'm going to keep it real. This fight is like 30 seconds.
Right.
That's it.
It's the Michael Spinks.
She's
of
the
Force
fucking Don
fights.
King. She's the Don King of Star Wars now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hey, based on your report, it could be if we're starting out with that Hadouken punch from Kenobi. I mean, I can't wait to see that actually play out. So
Yeah. That was the thing is like that is apparently what starts it off, and then it gets intense from there. But after reading your report, which I unfortunately didn't see before I wrote mine, or I could have had that stuff interface. I'm curious about how the Inquisitor stuff is going to tie in to that, because I am under the impression that the Inquisitor moment or whatever moments or episodes or whatever wrap up right before the final one when we get to the big fight, like the last episode is the big fight, is what I think. And so I was like, we were kind of talking on the show, like, would they show Darth Vader and the Inquisitor fighting Obi-Wan together, and then like that kind of like explains why Kenobi doesn't just mop the floor with Darth Vader in that moment. And then
right.
and then my takeaway is it's a very wrestling idea, is that when he force pushes him and does that to him, that pisses him off, and then that's when he's able to kind of get some extra stat points in the RPG kind of terms and able to take on Kenobi for
power up.
Yeah, he Hulkamaniac the fuck out of Obi-Wan in that moment. Is that how that goes? But yeah, do you think they would do that? Do you think they would show Vader and the Inquisitor? Like, this is just an opinion, kind of.
Yeah,
question.
no, we probably speculate more than anything. We've just started getting into breaking some leaks. We're more speculators. I hit a few just things I pulled out of my butt with Mando season 2. But here's what I mean, just based on the various leaks that have been reported. I mean, Sung Kang has more or less said, yeah, I'm an Inquisitor. I've been on the set with Darth Vader. So I do think we will get some scenes with Vader and the Inquisitors. And I think your angle does make sense, to where maybe the very first interaction is in the group, and Kenobi does kind of have to skedaddle like Qui-Gon and young Ben did in the Phantom Menace, when they weren't prepared to face off against this Sith Lord or Maul. And, it was getting a little hairy there for Qui-Gon, even in that short duel, and he, jumped and got out of there. So based on what I've heard, I could definitely see where Kenobi has to make a choice. Like, all right, I kind of came in going off of what I believe is the MacGuffin report, came in, did my duty. Things getting a little too hairy here for one Jedi Master. I got to get out. And then that'll ultimately lead to their future encounters and then the ultimate battle, which, I mean, are you thinking this is going to be penultimate episode or final episode?
I kind of wouldn't be surprised if it was final episode, but you never know what the organization is going to be on that kind of stuff, because it was a movie, and they took all 3 acts of the film, turned them into 2 episodes each. That's what I had heard.
Okay.
And so with that in mind, like if and obviously things changed. It went through like 2 rewrites after that, I think. And so organization of all of that stuff could be vastly, wildly different than what it originally was. But I would have to think that it, like, what he's trying to do, and once he does it, there's not a lot to say. Like what I mean? It's like if you do the fight, and even if you do the fight and you spend 10 minutes of Kenobi returning home, that would really be enough. I would
Right.
I would think, or I would hope. But I yeah, and there's like stuff about it. This like rescue mission is a big part of it.
Okay, so like, how, I don't know if you read. I kind of I did your report today and added to it, just based on other leaks we've heard. I mean, I don't know how much stock you put into some of the, I call them poo flingers there on Star Wars Reddit leaks, but there have been reports that possibly the MacGuffin, that what you're saying, that where Kenobi gets called off planet, it sounds like, to go help, could be Leia herself, getting mixed up into some sort of situation as a kid. Maybe the Organas, who knows? But I thought it was interesting when you were like, yeah, he gets called off for I forget what you called it, but it was like a key asset to what I'm assuming is the rebellion. Could that be Leia?
Yeah.
I don't know. Could it
Didn't
be
one of the
Organas? I don't
series? Didn't one of the series we're trying to get Jimmy Smits back for Bail?
Andor, I mean, he makes sense for that. I mean, I think he could.
Yeah,
be
he makes a lot of sense for
Kenobi. Yeah, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Actually,
I just,
yeah, for
Maybe
both of them,
send,
right?
Yeah, maybe he sends a Kenobi info about he's heard about a Jedi that's wandering about, and then so it's like I said, it's kind of a race between Vader and Kenobi to get to this person.
Yeah, yeah,
totally.
yeah. And,
yeah, I mean,
and so that would also entail, having the Inquisitors there, being able to help out, because Vader's not the kind to always do the action. He's going to send his underlings. He's going to send other people because they're pawns for him. He doesn't need
until he knows it's Kenobi, right?
Yeah,
and he's like, oh, that guy, he burned my dick off. Gotta get him.
yeah, exactly.
Who's got the high ground now, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, what I was told in terms of Vader's screen time for action moments, it will be minimal though. So I do think his big moment is reserved for your scene description, where the other interactions that we kind of discussed, it could be, like the Sith taunting type of stuff, or he could be in the background, maybe just gets a saber throw there, and Kenobi, as you said, maybe he does feel outnumbered. He's like, I got to get out of here. But it was reported to us that while Hayden is going to have a main thread as Vader in Kenobi, that's what it was described as a major thread to the show. I mean, hell, we could almost get 2 different perspectives throughout Kenobi's perspective, and hopefully something from the point of view of Vader.
Yeah.
Very good point.
But he's not going to be doing a lot of action outside of the scene Jason described, and my epic shit quote that was given to me. But we should expect to see a lot of Hayden as Vader. And when I asked, I was like, are we going to get any General Scott, any flashback action? And this, they only discuss so much in passing. He's like, I don't know. I didn't hear that. All I know is Hayden's in it a lot. We're going to see him in the suit. We're going to see him all decimated, out of the suit, healing chambers, back to tanks, all that fun stuff. But in terms of the action, it's not just, Vader's not just used as an action prop in Obi-Wan Kenobi, kind of like he was in Rogue One. It does sound like he is going to be fairly meaty from a narrative perspective, and that gets me super excited.
Yeah, I when I was doing having some conversations, I had the same idea about what he's about Leia and about Luke, and I was like, who could the prisoner be? And I was like, it can't be Luke, because then he knows that all this magical, fantastic stuff is real. And when we meet him in A New Hope, he kind of has to think, I'm just a farm boy and the world is basic. And then he takes that step into the much larger universe, you know? And
Right.
I was like, could it be Leia, you know? And I asked, and they wouldn't budge on who the prisoner was. But
CO Bibble.
CO Bibble. Yeah. Invasion.
You
He's
must
the last
contact me.
remaining bit of
Yeah,
the. He outlived them all. Like,
He's still complaining about lack of communications and stuff like that, and what that means.
He's all, I just think if you and Anakin sat down, you could really work stuff out. Because this communications disruption can mean only one thing: you aren't friends, and I love you both, and I want you guys to get along.
and I ate a monster burrito. It's
No,
invasion.
He took over. He took over Naboo, and he calls it Bibolopolis.
Kenobi's
like
got to
it.
stop it. This is ridiculous. It's too much.
Yeah, but yeah, I got a feeling. I got a feeling that it's gonna go two ways. It's either gonna be like the human sidekick, you know, that's what I can't remember any of the actors' names in that show right now. My brain is fried.
Short
But-
round.
No, not short round. But I think it's either going to be just like one of the new cast members, or it's going to be Leia. Like that is my sense. It's either going to be like somebody who we know Obi-Wan has to protect and knows something.
Kitster.
And but the thing that it like I want to know, and that I would love to get solved from via sources is that Jeddah. You know what I mean? Like that's the one thing that I want to know is what planet is that?
I mean,
yeah.
based on your report, I think it makes a ton of sense to have these two have a showdown on that almost force infused planet, moon, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Versus Tatooine. I mean, I'm someone, again, like I've had to completely 180 my thoughts on this series. I was like, there's no way Kenobi is leaving Tatooine. His charge is to watch Luke Skywalker. Why the hell would he ever leave? Like when you were saying, you know, it can't be Luke if he got captured. It's like, well, damn Skippy, because if Kenobi let him get captured right under his nose, like what's he been doing out there in the Judland Waste for the past 10 years since Revenge of the Sith?
It's got to be
Crypto.
somebody very important then to draw him off planet.
Exactly.
He's been
Exactly.
hacking all the moisture evaporators for crypto.
Yeah, he's screwing with the Lars family. You know, that's why Owen hates him so much. He's messing
Destabilizing
with
the
his
whole
livelihood.
region.
Ethereum, man. It's Ethereum. Get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Sucks.
Well, we've also heard. I mean, this is very light, and this comes right from the actor. We got this from one of our fans. It was at an event, and he got a signing with Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Listen, all I can tell you is I'm a friend of Obi-Wan's. That's it." So
That's
I mean, I know, like I
that
said,
was
it's not
that-
a ton of info, but he is a friend of Obi-Wan's. And what does that mean? Like a Tatooine friend, a former friend that could pull him off planet? We don't know, but we do know Kamal is going to be a friend of Obi-Wan.
Kamal is who I had it in mind for the other cast member who could be captured if it wasn't like, but once again, speculation. Like I don't know. And
Yep.
so, but I was like, yeah, because whatever it means, they're important to the cause is what I was told. And when I heard that, I was just like, man, that's so well worded. Cause I don't know if you're talking about the Rebel Alliance or the Jedi, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
or what that means necessarily.
So then could it be where they brought Hayden in, so not as so much as to put him in the suit, but to have those force conversations? So that's why they're not always in the same room when they're together, but
well,
through
we
the
don't
force.
no, he says that they're not having those.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
At least the exchanges were explained to me. The skirmishes, if you will, are in the flesh.
Right. Yeah. I haven't heard anything about like that Rey Kylo kind of thing. Like in my opinion, the current rules at Lucasfilm, based off of who's there and who knows how the stuff is supposed to work, that whole connection that Kylo and Rey have in that way,
Mhm.
I don't think we're going to see that outside of them in around that generation.
It's a
That's,
dyad
that's
thing.
dyad only then.
Dyad
saying.
exclusive, friends.
Guys, it's the sequels
VIP
midi
diet.
chlorians. You know,
Yeah.
they're just gonna
Yes,
stay
right.
away from it. You know, it's just one too many problems, I guess. Like my problem with Leia being the catalyst for Obi-Wan to go save her. Isn't what if he saves her? Does he go, now promise me you'll never get any more rebellion stuff again? I promise, Uncle Obi, I won't do it. You know,
No,
Oh,
looks at her,
fucking
and he
way.
goes, "I guess I was your only hope." The end. Written by George Lucas. Blue letters.
Saber drop.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, in dealing with exactly what the like organization of the show is, like I still got stuff that is really really murky, and that murk, if you will, is what makes me go like I think I know how this part goes, but I can't say for certain because we don't know if I don't know if the prisoner is kind of like the MacGuffin of the series, or if it's just what leads to where those two meet.
I think they're
Like,
gonna make it of the series.
you know what I mean? But like, or does, like as Kenobi brought out because Leia's been captured, is Kenobi brought out because he has something mystical to do with, life after death, retention? Because the reason why I bring that up is that's always been kind of an assumption by myself and a lot of fans, I think. And, I am under the impression that after this episode ends, Kenobi literally, or after the series ends, Kenobi changes everything that he's been doing, like the way that he has been imagining things are going to go, like he is supposed to protect the boy and stuff like that. But I think Kenobi's mindset could be different than what we think, and this is sort of based off of, this is informed speculation, is that he thinks the kid's going to turn 8 years old, and he's going to take him and start training, and that they are going to team up and
Okay,
take
and
stuff
then
down, and it's
I
going to
see where
be
you're
a
going.
traditional like kind of situation for the Jedi, and not, you're going to wait until he's old and he's 20 years old, and we're not going to take him away from his mommy and daddy because that's bad for Anakin. So we're not going to do like I don't necessarily think it's going that way. And but what ends up, so I have a feeling that it is going to go into, I need to learn this power is more important than ever, and me being powerful is going to let them find me.
I like that take, Jason, because you could almost position it as after all this goes down and he does have another run-in with his former brother, apprentice, whatever you want to call him, it could lead to him saying, you know what, we don't need to rush training another Skywalker in the Force. I need to re kind of focus my thought process on how to handle the twins moving forward, because this guy is just getting more and more powerful the more hate he allows into his system. And look what happened when we trained his father young. What am I going to do now? So I think he might be on to something here. It may be, let's be real, he's going to beat Vader, or at least best him in this,
Yeah.
because that has to happen. We know their story and how it plays out. But we don't really know, okay, well then what makes him, as you put, kind of depower himself in between now and A New Hope? How does Vader sense, like, damn, you are weak now, old man? Is it Obi-Wan shifting his focus? And I don't know. I kind of like where you're going with the, after the events of the Kenobi series, he realizes that rushing to train a Skywalker probably isn't their best bet at this point.
Yeah, and I think that kind of concept, in a weird way, Luke kind of does the same thing, but he gets there from a different perspective. It's whoa, you need to put on the brakes, stop worrying about power, and kind of need to get wise. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's what, Yoda helps him with that final lesson in the sequel trilogy, and then Luke is able to finish his mission. And Kenobi is probably going to have something like that. I was asking when I got to that piece of information through a conversation where I was like, what is the growth? Like how does Kenobi change? Like what's the character arc here? Because going to school and getting a degree over a montage isn't really a character arc. Like that was kind of my criticism of where the show could suck. And so I got that.
Now, could now if they do use Leia like Matt was talking about, we don't actually have to see her in a flesh, right? I mean, it could be also a ploy that maybe Vader
They were
used to
casting her.
test.
There
were
were
casting her?
casting calls out for her.
That's where the rumor stemmed from, that they were looking for two kids, boy and a girl, same age range.
Could it be they're filming her or that character to do a hologram?
Well, I have friends in the old acting biz, and they were doing casting calls for 4 children at that time, and 2 of them were fit the Luke and Leia description at that age, about, I think it was whatever, 10 or whatever. But they were casting a little bit earlier for that, and then there were 2 for Cassian, which we believe to be young Cassian, and his sister. And so they were doing doubles on some of that for Leia, because if a girl's a brunette with light skin, and she could also be Cassian's sister, it would totally pass, in that way. So they were seeing actors for both of those roles.
Oh, okay.
It could just be Leia's decoy. Like
like following mommy's footsteps. She's got a Sabe, a Rabe, and
Leia.
Leia.
It could be just information that
Organa A.
Vader puts out there that he's like captured her or something like that, and so
yeah,
nobody has to hear about it.
I'm pretty sure Kenobi interacts with this person and frees them, and then deals with Darth Vader while that person is going to safety.
Okay.
And in certain ways, it's not unlike your report, where it has a Phantom Menace kind of structure, because if what I'm saying is accurate, it's just like when Darth Maul shows up and they go the other way, and then the Jedi take on the menace, if you will. So
Jason, do you think, or have you heard, does Kenobi at this point know? I know you say by the final rematch he knows exactly who's behind that armor.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the case for the whole series? I mean, does Obi-Wan know that Anakin is this menace running around, or is it going to be through this series that he first learns, oh shit, I probably should have, stabbed him in the head instead of just leaving him there?
see, I got that bit back in August, around when they did it.
Okay.
And and that is a really good question, because after reading your report, at first I was like, God, I wish I had read this then. And I was like, I looked at the date and I was like, okay, I couldn't have known. I couldn't have seen it. But because that's a really good question, because if he but I do think that, I don't know, man. Like I wonder if there ever been a piece of canon that has let us know that he knows Darth Vader's alive, or that Anakin is alive.
Well, it's like we know they can sense each other from A New Hope on the Death Star. I mean, I know that moment's going to be different. It's going to mean a different thing now after Kenobi, but he almost sniffs him out like a dog. Like, I haven't felt this presence since. And he's like, oh shit, I know who it is.
Since that MakingStarWars report.
Yeah,
like Jedi poop.
Yeah, exactly. I've smelled this guy before. So you would think that
Vader's urinating on the Tiberium. Sorry.
I just feel like they're so close. I think once they're in the same location, be it the first interaction or the final, you would have to think that Kenobi would start to sense like, I screwed up.
Yeah. Because it would be interesting if, like almost like when I think of like the Phantom Menace kind of thing with Maul and Darth Vader and Obi-Wan in the series, it almost has like a road trip structure to it in a certain way, like where there's like Dumb and Dumber. The 2 guys are on the road, and then the 2 bad guys are chasing them, like the whole time. And I'm wondering if we're gonna have Darth Vader and the Inquisitor being the Dumb and Dumber bad guys.
Do you know what the most annoying force power in the world is? Projecting farts. It's a fart over there. No, don't. I gotta know where it's coming from. You can't just anywhere in the ship, man. Like
no, but with that in mind, like that monster could be coming after him, and he doesn't realize it's Anakin for a time. Like that could be actually fascinating, and then the realization that it is. But the one thing I would say probably going against that idea is the fact that Hayden has so much stuff to do supposedly outside of the fight. And so with that in mind, like, you know, I mean, the Darth Vader concept is an interesting one in the sense that like Padme is the big deal, and they do have words about Padme, like that does come up, that does happen in the fight. I just can't quote it. Is what I was told. I was told you could talk about that. You can't quote it. And so basically Obi-Wan probably throws some Padme in his face is my thinking.
She loved you, Anakin.
Or I don't know if he's still being manipulated by Palpatine at this time, who tells him, you know, you killed her. But if I think he still believes that for quite a while, that he killed her.
Yeah, I think you're right, because I don't know if you dig into the comics, which are canon, but this whole new thread has been taking place. The Vader thread's been post Empire, and there was I think like a 5 or 6 issue run on him going back to Naboo and realizing like, you know, she did survive past that. And essentially his mantra is, who made my son a wuss? Because I need to hunt them down and kill them. That was the gist of the thread. But he does learn from, I think, Sabe, that, you know, she ultimately died in childbirth.
Yeah. I have to say, man, I'm surprised he didn't ask Sabe out at that point. I mean, she was kind of like the other Natalie.
He didn't kill. I mean, for Vader, I mean, let's be real. He was on Naboo wiping people out left and right, but he left her alive. He did not. He spared her, even though she tried to ultimately trap him and kill him on Naboo. So
yeah. She's like,
yeah, I mean, if the comics, and this is why I'd love, and I hope we are going to get a heavy Vader perspective, because I don't know about you guys, but to me, if they ever made a Darth Vader series and he was the star and we finally got kind of his direct perspective, I don't think there'd be anything better in Star Wars land at that point. I mean, look how crazy people went on just that 1 minute long Rogue One hallway scene. Because of something we've always heard he was a badass. We never necessarily saw it on screen. So
did you ever have a chance to play Vader Immortal by any chance?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So like Vader Immortal kind of digs into that, he wants a way to save Padme still. Like that's still like on his brain then. And
he doesn't try to dig up her corpse, does he? And Obi-Wan finds out, no, he's gonna reanimate her. You know, reanimate her.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It is something odd like that, though. It's like he's going to use some magical force, like outside of the force, to do it, right? I mean, I kind of forget.
Use the nayberries to
Force Lazarus pit.
Yeah. No. Well. Yeah. He wants to like use this thing from like Mustafar that brought the planet life, and he wants to try to take that and infuse that with her or something like that. But I guess what I always think about is like with the concept of him. Is like, what does it have? Like, what does it say? Like, what does he have to like say? And the truth is that most people didn't play Vader Immortal because most people don't have VR headsets. So it's like, you know what I mean? So repackaging that and retelling some of that stuff is totally gonna, I think, be in the show, or able to be in the show anyways. But I do wonder, like, you know, he's this guy who messed up. He made all the wrong choices and he betrayed his friends and did them for reasons that I could sympathize with. Like, I would want to save my child from dying. I could understand that. And there's like, but he's in this place and then now he's trapped and he doesn't, and it takes him, and he can't admit he's wrong, because if so, Luke Skywalker has nothing to do. You know what I mean? He can't really come to like terms with anything. So you can't move him. In a weird way, Darth Vader emotionally and mentally is immovable unless it's more towards being worse even than he was.
No, you're right. You're exactly right, because I think the comics at this point, sadly, they give us the best look at his psyche, and he is in a constant state of pain, suffering, and self-hate. He hates Palpatine. He hates himself. He's always trying to be better than Palpatine, and like this last one was beautiful. Palpatine literally shredded him to pieces. I'm talking like ripped his legs off again, his arms off, dumped him right on the bank of Mustafar and said, "Oh, you think you're getting tough now? Here you go, figure it out." And then a bunch of challenges happen. They end up on Exegol fighting on huge beasts. And again, Palpatine's like, no, Vader, I still am the man. and kicks his ass back into submission. But that was all a ploy because he felt like Vader meeting his son was starting to lose his grip on his self-hate.
Yeah.
And Palpatine knows if I don't keep Anakin Skywalker angry as hell, I could be risking my power. So that's why he breaks him down again and reminds him, like, listen, dude.
I don't want to get snoked.
They're going to tax your castle, Vader. No! You're going to have to pay more in space tax. No! Turns out that is the running theme throughout all the series is space taxes.
Space taxes.
Like,
well, I'm going to say,
1%.
when Darth Vader has that metal ass castle, and he's like, join me and all that stuff to Luke, he should have been like, I have a really sweet castle. Like, he should have said that.
Yeah, he didn't sell himself very well.
No, he didn't.
Together we can avoid inheritance wealth tax.
Yeah, he's never been good at it. He's like, yeah, I could pod race and convince you I'm worth something, but that's about it.
He tried to convince him too late in life. If it were 8-year-old Luke, he's I have a castle. I got a castle.
Sweet. Yeah.
All right. Yippee!
That's Wizard. That's Wizard, Daddy. Yeah.
You ever seen Voltron?
Oh wow! And there's lava. Yay! I have little mice. And then they.
Hey, Jason, going back to them kind of talking, I also think we are going to get a line that is spoken in Return of the Jedi, and I think Kenobi's going to actually add some value to it. And it's the line where Luke and Vader. It's after Luke turns himself in. They're still on the Endor platform, and Vader essentially says, "Obi-Wan once thought as you do." Essentially, he could be redeemed. So do you think that could be part of this conversation during the rematch? Obi-Wan trying to
reach
a
him?
last-ditch attempt, like, come on, man, I know there's still good in you. Let's do this. But ultimately it fails, and then we get that line in Jedi, which would now have some context if it does play out in Kenobi.
That was always one of the more valid criticisms of the prequels, is that, like, once he's killing younglings, Obi-Wan's not like, come on, come back.
Right. He leaves him to die next to a lava river. So.
I mean, come on, we've all wanted to smack around the younglings. Oh, I mean, just Yoda did. He with the cane. It was funny. Now it's abusive. Oh, damn it.
But but I do think that you're onto something. Like, that is definitely an opportunity to make that moment have more power, because Padme does it. Padme's the one who says come back, not Obi-Wan. It's Padme.
Yeah, she tells him right at the end, like, hey, Obi-Wan, he still has good in him. Like, don't completely give up. So I think we're going to see, even after their fights, he is going to try to, like, hey, pal, come on. I know you're still in there. I can sense it, but ultimately it's not going to work out.
And from a Obi-Wan perspective too, he feels that maybe he also feels that, okay, I'm getting the chance to redeem the student that I've taught and who's basically gone off the rails. If there's one thing I'm going to be able to do before I leave is put him on the right path, or give him the self-doubt.
Yeah. Well, yeah, to take him back to the path. But what I like that what Matt hit on is this idea that Kenobi thinks he's a piece of shit child killer, kicks his ass, takes them apart like my kids are playing with Five Nights at Freddy's toys, pulls the arms off and asks me to put them back on constantly. I'm fucking sick of it. But anyways, and then goes, but Padme is dying and says they're still good in him, like, as you point out. And then he's like, shit, maybe you're right. Maybe
it's just a nougat center, actually. It's not really good. It's just really good tasting. That's what powers. What's in the thing? It powers the lights.
But I mean, but if they effectively put that in there, and Padme is just mentioned, but it does put Padme's sort of like spirit.
Oh, that would snap an angry Vader. That would snap an angry Vader right out of his trance, and I think he would listen. If the Padme gets thrown out, like, hey, Anakin, Padme said there's still good in you. I think that would at least have Vader pause. Maybe that's when Obi makes his move to get the upper hand. But I really do think Obi is gonna make an attempt to, like, just like Luke is doing in Jedi, like, come on, Dad, come on. I know Anakin's still in there. You can do it. You don't need the Emperor.
Let go of your hate.
Thank you.
But what if he does it wrong? What if he's like, Padme was wrong. She said there was still good in you, and in saying it that way,
That
it does the same
yeah.
thing, but instead it pisses him off.
Right, because we
now
know
it's
that he
even-
fails. I mean, Obi-Wan fails at trying to get him to come back to the light. And I also think their interactions in Kenobi will make the Kenobi scene in A New Hope where he's explaining to Luke about his dad. Like, that's when this could be when he learns, like, yeah, Anakin is more machine now than human and all this type of stuff. So I think Kenobi's going to clean up some of the, I guess people are calling them plot holes. It's not really that big of a hole, but
No,
some, crazy Kenobi or PTSD Kenobi, especially once some of the prequel stuff came out, it made a lot of Kenobi's edicts to Luke sound like he was pulling him out of his butt or lying to him, but you never know. So.
Well, kind of like if we pretend like everything was made in order and by design, which I think if you're just following it as a story, you should. There is a change in Kenobi that I think is oftentimes overlooked, and it's like when you look at how Obi-Wan continually treats Anakin, there's always an air of condescension, and because Anakin's kind of a little dick, and so he's condescending to him. But when you look at Luke and Obi-Wan, Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan is never condescending to him whatsoever. He's always he's very, very like, you must do what you feel is right, of course, kind of stuff. He's very like, hey, I'm gonna let you be you, dude. And like that change, I think still should be credited to George Lucas, since he directed both of those characters and decided he was going to start in this very condescending place, and that's why he did his very weak interpersonal skills in a certain way. And it still comes into play with when he kind of lies to Luke with the from a certain point of view bullshit, which is just straight up a lie. Luke gets it, and the lesson is learned, but he understands what was at stake and why he had to do it. But that's not a certain point of view. That's a straight up lie. and like Luke has to accept the reality that the past was hard, and that Obi-Wan's not perfect in that moment too.
I get that, and you're doing a fine job of reading in between the tea leaves. But I think it's hard to be condescending to Luke after he lives with Owen for like 20 years. It's like,
yeah, Owen's a dick, man.
If you got like condescending, hey, bitch, the fucking asshole I live like after what my dad did to me, I was like, Army? Easy. Yeah. Not a problem. I got nothing. Do this all day. So it's just not gonna, condescending ain't gonna work on Luke at that point. I also think it'd be, look, this is a stupid line. It's something that should have been in Detours, but Obi-Wan's like, it's not her heart you broke, it was her farts. And then he goes, what? I broke her what? And he sees the sparks, and that's how he knows he's more robot. And man, because it doesn't make any sense to a robot. Like,
yeah.
What is? I don't compute. Oh shit, he's not a man.
Request elaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's lame.
No, I mean, but when we follow, I mean, this story, because I have been interested in how do you move Obi-Wan as a character from anywhere, from where he's at that point.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's important to remember, like in Phantom Menace, he's calling Jar Jar a pathetic life form. And then
he's calling Anakin a pathetic life form too. Have we brought another pathetic life?
Another pathetic life
form. That's what I was saying yesterday though, Jason. Like if it were Jar Jar he was going to save, that to me would be the bigger like turn, because like this is a character he couldn't fucking stand. Like it's this one dude, he caused all these problems, but he's a good dude. I can't let him suffer. Like this is the one thing I gotta clean up. And
he only gave Palpatine executive powers. It was no big deal.
Qui-Gon won't leave me about it. He's a ghost every night going Jar Jar, Jar Jar, just right over Jar Jar. Stop it! Fine, I'll go. And
Never
he goes
underestimate the Jar Jar's ability to fuck things up.
Yeah, so then when Jason's like, yeah, but once Ed comes on the show, I figure that's not possible. I agree with you, but maybe that's the trick. Maybe see, they will never see it coming because it wouldn't, or they're just not paying attention because there's regime change right now because it's Civil War, and they
always Civil War.
Yeah, the Civil War is, they're not keeping a tab on him, and they figure the show's not come out till next summer anyway. Who knows? But I just think like that to me would be the real change, because here's the thing: like all the stuff we're talking about kind of could get dealt with in like 5 minutes on a show. It's not enough to carry 4 episodes, unless it's really like they're gonna hammer this shit in. You know, like it doesn't wait. It's a catalyst. It's like a thing to get a guy off the horse and get on the adventure, and it's a moment, but it's not 4 hours long worth of material. There's just got to be other stuff there that this is like.
That's where I think I'm hoping the other stuff is the Empire Vader perspective of this timeline. That's what I'm hoping for, because I'm with you. It's like, how much can you really spend with a hermit hanging out on a desert planet outside of that initial MacGuffin thing that we're thinking about with this probably rebellion important character that he has to save.
Well, we have to explain to live action audiences what Inquisitors are. We have to give them plight and some kind of arc. In theory, they should. We have the new characters. We have to deal with the new characters, and we have to also in some really light way probably establish who Luke and Leia are, what happened to Kenobi, why he is where he is, because all of these things are usually designed to stand on their own. So if you've never seen Star Wars before and this is the first thing, you can follow it. Like some Disney Plus kid who's 7 years old, never seen anything, turns it on. It has to work for that person. Like I know people who never saw anything from Marvel and saw Loki, and now they're they're getting into the Marvel stuff or WandaVision, and so it's kind of it's interesting, but like I think we're looking at a 2-hour film, and we're getting the 4-hour assembly cut.
Or are we getting 4 30-minute episodes? Or are we getting the 45, 50-minute?
Yeah, 6 episodes total.
Oh, it's 6? Okay.
6 episodes total. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it could go so many, it could go so many different ways. Like what's that new character's deal? Because that new character could be huge.
What just popped in my head though, Jason? Like, never thought about this before. What if Obi-Wan's out on Tatooine and he just comes across Anakin's old pod? He's like, shit. Like just like the pieces, like this stuff,
So that's where Cobb Vanth got it. Then he gets it from Kenobi's garage, right?
It was a pretty good pod racer.
Cobb Vanth was roll. I mean, his speeder was part of Anakin's pod racer in Mando last year. So
yeah.
Yeah.
We have to deal with Hayden Christensen, or we have to deal with Anakin. We have to deal with Obi-Wan. Sun Kang is an Inquisitor. And so, but
what about what have you heard on Rupert Friend? Have you heard that he could possibly be Callus or someone in the ISB?
Yeah, I don't. So I don't know, and I was told that some of that casting that has come out, some of it is accurate and some of it isn't.
Is that Janina Gavankar from Iden Verso? Is she in this series?
She wasn't on. We got like the official list where they sent out that grid. Like those are the only confirmed we know. That was what Indina Verma, Rupert Friend, Kumal was on there, and obviously you and Hayden
and we've seen Varma in an Imperial costume. If she's undercover,
totally.
If she's not going undercover, we assume that she's an Imperial unless she's undercover.
Right.
For some reason,
I could see the ISB kind of being brought in at this time, maybe just helping Inquisitors root out Jedi. I don't know if they kept those affairs separate. They just left the Jedi to Vader and the Inquisitors, while the ISB was messing with the Mandalorians. Who knows? But
or if they completely shill for EA and they're like, he's gonna save the dude from Jedi Fallen Order. The other redhead.
Good old Cal.
Yeah.
Milk toast, Cal Kestis. That's right. Yeah.
Ice Cube's son is in this, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Ice Cube's son. Is Ice Cube in it too?
He wasn't on the like that confirmed grid, but O'Shea is for sure.
Because right now when I'm looking up the cast on Google, on the official cast for Google, it has Ice Cube, and I'm like, did I miss something?
Or is it his son, maybe? Because his son's the same name.
No,
O'Shea.
It is O'Shea Jackson.
Yeah, O'Shea Jackson Jr. He's in it. And so I'm not sure if that's just wires getting crossed from people going, it's Ice Cube's son over and over again, or if Ice Cube has a cameo, but he's listed on there. But I don't
along 3.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then and like when it comes to Kamel, it's like he could literally that guy has the talent range that he could literally be a comedic sidekick for 2 seconds, like the fucking speeder guy in the first episode of Mando,
Then gets
or he
wiped
can
out.
literally be, or he can like literally be like a main character who's central to the whole thing. You know what I mean? And who's doing a serious role. It's really like, and I am kicking myself for not digging that out that more. I think maybe I'll start pulling on that thread harder, because now I really want to know what's up with his character.
How about anything on flashbacks? I mean, I was always under the guise we may get either Obi-Wan or hell even Vader kind of reminiscing after they run into each other, like getting some Clone Wars era live action stuff between these two. My source could not confirm. They were more just the Vader stuff. I don't know if you've heard anything on. I think
Yeah.
narratively it makes sense, but they probably don't have to go there either.
Well, so there has been interesting things that have gone on, and that have been, the pandemic made it hard to figure out what this is. Back when they were doing Book of Boba and we still thought it was Mando season 3, I did a report and I was like, hey, Slave 1 is coming. They built Slave 1, and then that one was confirmed like a week or two later. It was really close because I was really late on getting that one out. But I also had that they were making Naboo starfighters. And
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, so right now my assumption is I was technically wrong about Naboo starfighters being in Mando season 3 because it was actually Boba Fett. Well, Kenobi had a lot of starts and stops. It was supposed to it was supposed to start at the same time. It was supposed to be in, and so those Naboo starfighters that were being made very well could have been for Kenobi. They could have built them for that, and that would probably allude to the idea that either we meet somebody from Naboo who is friendly to Kenobi from the past or something like that, or C.O. Bibble.
There, see,
Or,
it all comes back to CO.
Keira Knightley shows up. No, or it could be the fact that it's from a flashback, and that we're going to.
Did you see them? I think this was Bespin Bulletin, but
Mhm.
apparently there was a shoot at a pool. But they also described that they had a scene described to him where Vader is in this kind of foresty type of setting, misty. That fits Naboo, right? I mean, when they went to see Jar Jar, I mean that could definitely kind of flesh out the need for a pool or a dark forest type of setting. I know some people were going to Dagobah. I'm like, I don't know if Dagobah makes sense for this series at all, but you never know.
Well, I did you ever hear about when I was driving and I ran into Ewan McGregor?
I see it on your Twitter profile. So
did you ever see the Frank Oz follow up on that?
No.
So a day or two later, I was going back and doing some meetings and stuff. And as I'm going, I see the car that Ewan was driving, and but the car's coming at me, I immediately go, oh shit, it's him. And then I look inside the car and it's not him. It's a elderly man, bald. And I'm like, with glasses on, and I'm like, okay. And my mind immediately goes, it's probably the person who works on the car or puts it in a garage for him or something. And then as I'm driving at him, we're driving right at each other across the light, and I look at him, and I am pretty fucking sure it's Frank Oz. And that was the last day of shooting, actually.
Okay. Well.
And so I, that happened. And I was like, what if Frank Oz was there on the last day of shooting doing Yoda stuff for Kenobi, and Ewan McGregor let him drive his fancy car? And that is my assumption. But
I still think if that's true, that is the greatest way to stumble into a spoiler of all time. I don't think you have to have had the first coinciding that you pull up next to Ewan in that car, and then you have to have the next that he would allow Frank Oz. Like, imagine if he was like, no, Frank, I don't want you to drive the car, but I've always wanted to drive the car. Like, all right, well, just one time, just go get the macchiatos and I'll get the macchiatos and get back. I'll get right back. And then he bumps right into you. Like, it is that Pulp Fiction moment where Bruce Willis.
Hey, I walked the beat. I'm gonna say.
You know what, Jason, with that in tow, and let's kind of reset back to thinking about Kenobi winding down and reshifting his point of view and how he wants to handle himself after Kenobi.
Yeah.
I think there's great potential, maybe the last moment of the show, where we get some payoff on Revenge of the Sith stuff, some Clone Wars stuff, to where Kenobi finally, maybe he calls in the Yoda and is like, all right, I'm ready to learn what Qui-Gon taught you. And that is how to become the Force Ghost. And maybe that's like the close. We get Obi-Wan, just the voice, and he hears Qui-Gon for the first time. And we kind of go with the thought that, all right, he's now going to learn how to become one with the Force, which he believes is going to help him ultimately better assist Luke in taking out his dad.
So here's my
I could see Yoda definitely being involved in that, like those last final moments, kind of like, all right, Obi-Wan, this is what you need to do now. So I think you could be right there. I mean, that interaction could definitely lead to a major reveal.
My wild speculation. This is wild speculation. Is Kenobi goes to Jeddah to get a crystal, and the crystal amplifies the Force like Mortis stuff does, and that's what's going to allow him to get more from Qui-Gon and stuff like that. And perhaps in order to try to find out where that is or how to do it or where it's at, maybe he has to speak to Yoda, and maybe Yoda's the one who has to tell him, you need to go to Jeddah secret temple here. We didn't tell you guys about it. Only cool guys like me and Mace Windu, we'd party there, and when you guys weren't around, we'd open up some beers and talk about the Force without you guys bothering us. And then he sends him there. That's just wild speculation though. And do
you feel like though we are going to get some sort of payoff on Kenobi learning the Force stuff? Because it was mentioned in Sith. It was expanded upon in the 6th season of the Clone Wars, where Yoda actually hears from Qui-Gon and goes through his training. But I believe he did tell Obi-Wan, like, listen, I've been in touch with an old friend. You need to figure this shit out too, because this is going to help us.
In terms of it being a movie and it satisfying, I'm going to say original trilogy fans. I had a friend in the Walt Disney Company, just to be super broad, who was able to read the original script. They won't spill shit. The super, like, not many people got to read the original drafts, and I really want to read it. So I was like, come on. No, but they won't budge. I'm kidding. I don't do that, for the record. But they told me it was the film that was written was the best film script they ever received for a Lucasfilm project to date.
Better than Strange Magic?
Better than Strange Magic. No, Disney never got that one. This is during the Disney era. And but said it was the best script by far. And without giving anything away, this is the kind of person who, if you drop Truby or something like that, they can give you the quote about for good writing and script writing. Like, they know their shit. And so the fact that they said that always made me think, like, oh, this is actually something special. And then and I don't know the ins and outs about the rewrite stuff. I knew when things happened, when writers shifted and stuff. And when they brought on like one of the writers, everyone was like, oh god, I didn't like the King Arthur thing, so that's bad and all stuff like that. And I'm like, I think this is actually like editorial work that was going on. I think that if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't want to take away anything from anybody, but I think that that writer was like hired to reorganize certain things and then change tense in dialogue and move things around and make the dialogue connect after those editorial shifts. That's what I think happened.
That fallacy is like when they go, oh, the guy from Green Lantern is directing Thor. Oh, it's going to be stupid. I get, like, I name one movie Ivan Kershner did before Empire Strikes Back. Can they do it?
No, it would be, Irvin Kershner. It would be like, I love your ability to mess up everybody's name no matter what. I would
it's a skill.
Ivan Kershner, he wrote the Russian Star Wars.
I write the Star Wars. What are stars?
Crush the Jedi. Anti-American message.
Before I forget, if there are kyber crystals, I just want Yoda to go, "Oh, dark crystal you have found," like just once, one time. I just want it so bad. I want it so bad.
So if Geek Furious is right and say Dagobah is definitely in Kenobi 100%, then would we be getting possibly the reason why there's such a bad force there on Dagobah where Yoda chooses to hide, or was the bad
he buries
force
the crystal,
there?
or he throws it like in Superman? He throws it into the
or was it
swamp,
already
and
there when he moved there?
When in the Clone Wars, in the Clone Wars Yoda arc, Yoda goes there because that place already has a lot of shit going on with it. So the Clone Wars already implied as much, but that doesn't mean that since it's something unquantifiable, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, now Vader goes there and they fights Obi-Wan there. Now it's even eviler, you know. They could totally get away with it. Yeah, they could just totally get away with it, you know.
You think Obi-Wan goes to Dagobah and he goes, "Man, it smells rank. What is this place?"
Bog of eternal stench.
It's the bog of eternal stench. And we can just get a bunch of
see if he's if we're gonna get Hobo Yoda if he shows up in Kenobi. You know, the one that's a little loopy, the one that Luke runs into where he's messing with him, like trying to steal stuff from R2D2 and meat sticks and all that.
Yeah,
Yoda's pissing into the bog.
Yeah,
right?
he's a little off his rocker by this point.
well, no, that could happen. Obi-Wan shows up and he's all, "Master Yoda," and he's all, "Fucking with you, I am."
Yeah, he's got like a spice stash in his hovel now. He's hitting the pipe.
Yeah, he's vaping spice.
Frank Oz is going darker than Little Shop.
I want Yoda blowing big old spice clouds through his vape at Kenobi when he walks in.
I always love that part in
up,
Lord of the
Obi-Wan?
Rings. The first Lord of the Rings where they're sitting there, is the best weed in all the shop.
Oh yeah. Those hobbits are stoned throughout the entire journey.
See, here's what you do. Here's the real thing. You marry that with the plot point. So he blows the smoke, but it's the map. Like he's blowing the map in the course. He's explaining to him where to go, and then you go here.
And he's doing like
One-Eyed Willie, we're coming.
Yeah, and he sees it. All right, then okay, all right, so it's a twofer, It's visual storytelling. Yeah.
Well, imagine if we had got Trevorrow's episode 9, and when Archie starts to play that flashback of everything that happened throughout all of the saga stuff, that would have to have been in there.
Yeah,
episode 9. See that
Yoda's bong rips. They make the cut.
Yeah, but well. Once again, dude, great scoop, Matt, and really fun to have our stuff interfacing and having a conversation about it.
This is fun. I always love shooting the shit with other Star Wars nuts. So appreciate the invite.
Yeah, and anytime you want to hang out, come hang out and chill with us. By all means, just hit me up.
Cool.
Open invite.
I will.
We'd love to have you around and Star Wars Time. Make sure you guys check out his show on the YouTube and subscribe to his podcast on wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, we're all over. StarWarsTime.net's probably the best place to go if you found me somewhat interesting. But we do a weekly, every Tuesday we do a live stream on YouTube, and then that gets posted to podcast platforms. Plus, we cover Star Wars on the site. So we're a little, well, at least me, we're a little loopy. We're not your typical fan Star Wars broadcast. It gets a little loud, explicit.
Good.
It
sounds like how you guys kind of jive over here. So,
hey,
you guys,
it's us.
What you guys doing over there?
We're the .net types. You're either a .net
Fake Hispanic, Jesse, and the Dot. Like you three.
I hate
represent.
.net, but that's what we got. I believe StarWarsTime.com went to it was a site that was selling chewing tobacco for some reason. So that's why we're .net. But yeah, that's the best place to find us. And then at Star Wars Time Show on IG, that's probably our biggest social. But thanks again, guys. This was fun. And like I said, maybe I'll dip back in if that link stays open that Jason sent. So
yeah, I'll send it on over anytime you want to hang out. And thanks to everyone for hanging out with us today. And we will make sure to get into everything in the chat next time. We got to end it here because it's 1:00 here. And I'm going to test out the new system. Supposedly, guys, I don't have to tell you I'm ending the show and hitting a button anymore. It's just supposed to do it. Woo. Let's see what. Oh yeah, it's all play outro and then stream.
It's not about spaceships. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
All right. We did it. I was so that actually worked. I was able I was just remixing